Hello folks, I'm not going to be getting out in the garage again today. Today we're going to do a little bit of a barbecue, let's say competition. My brother, who is the grill master of the family, has taught me two different ways to cook meat on a smoker and on a barbecue grill. My wife has decided that she doesn't really care too much for the smoke flavor, so wants me to cook some ribs without the smoke. So I'm going to put them on the smoker and do the 3-2-1 method. That's 3 hours unwrapped, just on the grill, seasoned, 2 hours wrapped, 1 hour with unwrapped and back on the grill at 180 degrees all the way through. The second method, which is a method that my brother has done up here before, it requires more temperature and shorter periods of time. And my wife seems to think that those are the best way to do it. So we're going to do them both ways and see how it works. And on top of that, I'm also going to be putting a Boston butt in the smoker as well on the 3-2-1 method. That worked out really good last time for the pulled pork, and so we're going to do that again. So I'm going to get these things seasoned up, get the smoker fired up, cleaned up and fired up, and then put these things on the grill and see how it works. And I'll bring you along for the ride. Okay, I'm getting ready to season these things up. We're going to use olive oil as a binder, and then Lawry's seasoning salt, seasoned salt, garlic powder, and these will be done that way. And this one here, the Boston butt, will also receive some Jack Daniel's steak seasoning. I'm going to give it a shot. Don't know what it's going to be like, but we're going to try it. I do have to split. I did have to split the baby backs that are going onto the smoker because the racks are not that deep. So you have to split these two in half. The one that goes on the grill can be full size. These pieces are pieces of that came with the spare ribs. So each one of the spare ribs has an additional piece. Some people throw that away, but darn it, that's good meat. I want to eat it. So we're going to get this stuff seasoned up and put on the grill. Okay, as you can see, I've got the pork butt on the top rack. I've got the baby backs on the middle rack, and I got the spare ribs on the bottom rack. The top rack, I'm hoping, will be the one that is the hottest. But later on, after give me about an hour and a half, I'll hook my thermometer up to the pork butt, and if need be, I'll adjust that vent that you see in the back a little bit to hold a little bit more heat. But when I came out here to put them in, the temperature read at 200. And just leaving it for a few minutes, it was up to about 180 or something like that, I guess. But I'm going to try to cook them right around 200. I've got the thing turned down just as low as it can go, and I've currently got the grill heating up here on the deck. The instructions for the old way of cooking the ribs was to grill them at 300 degrees, but you're supposed to start off with a hot grill and sear them for 15 minutes front and back. So that's what I'll do with the ones that are going on here, and then I'll try to regulate it down. I'll have to turn off probably 2 of the regulators on this grill it's a very hot grill, and then turn the other two down all the way in order to maintain a 300 degrees. So we'll see how it goes. My reason for doing this today is twofold, actually. One is to determine which way to cook these ribs that pleases the wife the most. I mean, she really enjoys biting into a good set of ribs, and was real disappointed about the smoke taste. I guess it didn't agree with her. So we're trying to figure that out, and also figure out which one of the two methods she likes the best. So we'll go with that. Whichever one works the best for her, that's what we'll go with from now on. But another reason is you guys may remember from my toe kick video that I had a whole bunch of wood that I pulled up off that floor in the kitchen and the living room. And I need to make room for that in my wood shop. And the wood shop is just absolutely trashed. I mean, it's got stuff piled up to the ceiling. So I figure while I'm doing that, be really close to the grills and to the grill and to the smoker, that I could just kind of kill two birds with one stone. So that's what I'm going to be doing while I'm not babysitting the smoker and the grill for temperature. So just want to let you guys know that. But hopefully we can all learn something from this video as far as the ribs, how they taste, and the pork butt. So wish me luck. Thanks. Okay, I finally got this grill regulated to 300 degrees. I had to basically turn off, this is off, 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 and this one's only about maybe, I don't think it's even a half open. I don't know. No, it's maybe half. So, and that's keeping it right at about 300 degrees. I remember the last time I did these, the last couple times I did these ribs this way, I did them actually in the house so that I could regulate the temperature a lot better with the oven. But all that barbecue sauce and stuff, it kind of stinks up the house a little bit. So I definitely wanted to figure out how to do this. So I've got it sitting right at 300, maybe 299, 98. That's close enough for me. So I'll go down and see how the ones down there in the smoker are looking. Okay, I wanted these right at between 180 and 200, and I'm sitting right at 200, so we're looking good there. Now all we gotta do is wait. Okay, these are the ones that are being cooked on the grill. They've already got a really nice color. The rule says 45 minutes on the top rack at 300 degrees, and then pull them off. And well, you have to barbecue sauce them while they're on the top rack. Pull them off, wrap them, and I'm going to wrap them with the meat side down, so I'm going to turn them over. But I'll wrap them up. I'm going to put this piece here in with this one, and then we'll wrap them up, put them back on the top rack for another 45 minutes, and then we take them off, and I'll bring you back for that whenever I get around to that. Okay, here's the spare ribs, just came out of the foil, and here's the baby back ribs, just coming out of the foil. Now we'll put them back on the grill for a little color. Okay, fixing to wrap this pork butt. I slathered it down real good with barbecue sauce. I also put a bunch of butter on it, and I wanted to put honey on it. I didn't have any honey that was not turned to sugar, so I just scooped it out of the honey bottle there and put it on there that way. The fire will melt it and it'll all cook right in. So we'll wrap it up and put it back in the smoker. Okay, the ones on the grill are done. We'll remain to see how they taste and how tender they are, until we get the other ones off. They're going to have another about 2.5 hours before we can take them off, and then let everything rest a little bit and try them out. But we got some pretty good exposure of the bone there. They pulled away quite a bit on the baby backs. Now the spare ribs, you can't hardly see it, but there is some pull away there as well. This piece here, I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but it should all taste pretty good. We'll, like I say, we'll try it when we get the others off the smoker. Okay, the wife and I cut a couple of little ribs off of the baby backs that were done on the grill, and they had really good flavor, but they were a little on the tough side. I think maybe they stayed on the hot grill when I first started a little too long before wrapping them or putting them on the upper rack and turning the temperature down. So that may have caused that a little bit. So just to try to soften them up a little bit, I rewrapped them after they came off when I said they were done. I rewrapped them and put some butter in them and stuck them back into the into the smoker with the rest of the stuff. So we'll see how they come out afterwards. But everything is about ready to come off except for the pork butt. That's going to have to stay on for quite a bit longer. It's only sitting at about 145, and it really needs to be around 200, 215, something like that. So we're going to leave that on for a while. We weren't planning on having pulled pork tonight. It was going to be for tomorrow night anyway, so that'll work out fine. But we'll pull those other ribs off here shortly and see how they look. Okay, these are the ribs that were done on the grill and then taken off and then put back into the smoker because they were a little tough on the other side, on the back side or front side, meat side. We didn't try the spare ribs at all. These are the ones that were in the smoker the whole time on the 3-2-1 method, and I fudged a little bit on the 3-2-1, but I want you to look at the difference here. This one here is, let me flip it over. It is more tender now than it was before, but look at this. This one here is just falling apart. That is so tender. Unbelievable. I don't know how well looks like the spare ribs did about the same. On this one over here, spare ribs, good. It's got some bite to it. Not falling off the bone, but still a good looking rack of ribs. I wouldn't turn them down at all. But that's where we ended up. Looks like the 3-2-1 method definitely seems to work a little better. Okay, so we ate dinner and shared some with my neighbors across the street and asked them for an opinion on which ones were better, the ones that were done in the smoker and the ones that were done on the grill. If you remember, I put the ones that came off the grill into the smoker, wrapped them up, and put them into the smoker so that it would tender them up a little bit. I do believe that I left them a little too long on the hot grill to sear them, and that caused them to be a little tough on the outside. So putting them in the smoker, excuse me, at 200 degrees with some butter and extra barbecue sauce and let them just sit in there for about an hour and a half seemed to make them nice and tender. So I don't know that was a fair comparison. But that being said, I also didn't follow the 3-2-1 method to the letter either. I only went probably about 2.5 hours on the initial um, where you put it in, put the meat in to cook for the first 3 hours. I only went 2.5, maybe 2.25 even. Then I wrapped them and I kept them in for right at 2.5 hours. So it was about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, so 5 hours total. Um, I did not take them off or out of the wrap and put them back on the grill in the smoker. If I would have done that, they would have fallen apart and just fallen right down into the into the bottom of the smoker. They were just coming apart. So 3-2-1 method, yeah, it works. It definitely makes them tender, makes them nice and tender. The way my brother was doing it was at 180 degrees. I cooked them at 200 because I also had a Boston butt on there I was trying to get done. It is now, I think it's now close to 7 o'clock. It's been on there for, well, right at 7 hours. And it's just now up to 203 degrees or so. I'd like to see it up a little higher than that. So just a little bit longer with that and it'll be done. But, so really, I guess it's not a fair comparison, the 3-2-1 method versus my brother's initial method of putting the meat on the grill, searing it for 5 minutes on each side, searing it, and then putting them on the top shelf with barbecue sauce for 45 minutes at 300 degrees, and then taking them off the top rack, wrapping them with barbecue sauce again, putting them back on the top rack, and for another 45 minutes at 300 degrees, and then taking them off and putting them back on the top rack for 15 minutes with more barbecue sauce. It has worked for me in the past where it was just absolutely fall off the bone delicious. And it would have been that way today too, I think, had I not. I got sidetracked and lost track of time when I was doing the searing process, and I think that kind of boogered that up a little bit. But the 3-2-1 method, I don't think that they really need to go that long. If you're smoking, I wasn't putting smoke to it. If you're smoking, then maybe it takes that long to get the initial smoking process of the 3 hours to get the smoke flavor into the meat. But I don't think so. I just don't. 2.5 hours, the meat was looking really good. And then taking it and putting it in the tin foil with barbecue sauce, loading it down with barbecue sauce, and then putting them back on for another 2.5 hours, and then taking them off and putting them on the plate worked really well. It was literally try to pick up the whole slab with 2 bones, and it just all falls apart. Fall off the bone tender. If that's what you're looking for, that's what it'll get you. The 3-2-1, I'm sure, I know it does the same thing, but it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. It doesn't need to go that long. But I know my brother has changed it up a little bit too. He told me on the phone a while back that he doesn't necessarily do the 3-2-1 anymore, I don't think. But I guess if you're a beginner and you need something to follow, works. It does work. But so does the grill part that I just told you about. You don't even have to have a smoker. But anyway, it was delicious, and as you saw, it was falling apart, so tender that it just about melted in your mouth. I did have a little bit of problem with the seasoning. One of the seasonings that I put on it that I forgot to mention was pepper, and unfortunately, there was a couple of places where the pepper was coming out a little bit more generously than I wanted it to. And the Lawry's seasoned salt that I used was kind of clumpy, so
There were places, from what my wife said, there were places where it was really, really salty, and then places where you didn't taste hardly any salt at all. So, note to self, next time I need to buy new, so make sure that I have some new, fresh Lawry's instead of the clumpy stuff. That should work a lot better. But other than that, like I said, everything tasted great. It was easy to chew. It wasn't a tough piece there that I found. And we will probably enjoy it tomorrow, along with maybe a little pulled pork from this Boston butt that we're cooking. But anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.